Hi, I'm Zachary Cowan, the author of the Study Daily books, and thanks for joining me for a look at Doctrine and Covenants section 106. This is a small section, and it's given to Warren A. Cowdery, who is the older brother of Oliver Cowdery. Oliver has joined the church several years before and has been interested, and his older brother's been watching to see what this religion does. And finally, eventually, he becomes converted through the teachings of Parley P. Pratt and Joseph Smith. And then he starts pleading that the church would send somebody to preside over a branch. And of course, God does. They call Warren A. Cowdery to be the presiding high priest over the group. And this revelation gives him instruction on how to do that. And he's a really good minister. In fact, he takes care of this small group, which never gets any bigger than about 75 people, and many other small little groups of 8 or 15 or 17 people that gather together. And it doesn't grow much because as those people convert, he tends to their newfound faith. They eventually, many of them move to Missouri or they move along to Kirtland, and he stays there taking care of them. He will eventually move to Kirtland himself. So what we have here in section 106 is his call to be that presiding high priest and a leader. Jesus Christ takes time now to say, Warren Cowdery, here are some lessons I've learned about leadership that I want now to pass on to you. So go ahead, pause your video and look for this. What are the lessons on leadership that Jesus Christ desires to pass on? All right, see you in a minute. Hey, thanks for studying. I'm sure you saw some great things. Like in verse 3, Warren A. Cowdery has said, hey, put your time devoted to the preaching of the gospel, and anybody that gives their full-time effort, the Lord says, we will find ways to take care of you. The church and even the Lord says, I'm going to provide for you and your family. And then the Lord goes on to give him some other things. Like in verses 4 and 5, he says, look, we want you to be prepared so you're not overtaken by the second coming as a thief, so that you can be a child of light. I think it's interesting that God always warns people about the second coming, even though it hasn't happened. But for thousands of years now, Christians have been being prepared and are found to be children of light because they are constantly being ready for the second coming. And it forces us to choose day by day to be prepared. That's a really interesting thing of how is the teaching of the second coming, how has it actually helped you be obedient and avoid sin and avoid procrastination, because we're constantly preparing for that event, which will one day happen. All right, the next thing, in verse 6, the Lord says something great, that there was joy in heaven when Warren Cowdery bowed to the scepter of heaven, that he gave those up. Jesus Christ obviously felt that when he was called to be the Messiah in the premortal life. And now he's saying, look, heaven rejoices when people are submissive and willing to take up assignments that are hard to bear and to do this and to take it forward. And then the Lord says some more incredible things. Verse 7 says, look, you're blessed, Warren, and I will have mercy upon you regardless of the vanity of your heart. I think that's good that despite our shortcomings, Jesus Christ still calls us to leadership positions. And he says, look, even though you have problems, you can still be a great leader. Even though your heart sometimes is about how you look and how people perceive of you, you can still be a great leader if you will be humble. And if we will change. God is not opposed to calling us, to help us, and to bring us. I have felt that in callings of my own life. And how pleased God is, and also that despite how pleased he is with us, he still sees my follies. Which brings us to verse 8, where he says, I will give you grace, and I will give you assurances. I will give you divine help, and I will let you know that I'm helping you, so that you can go forward and stand as a powerful witness, and you will receive those things. These are some great leadership principles that we could remember and that we could use. Even if you don't have a leadership position in the church, you could use these with your family. That despite our follies, Jesus Christ still wants to help us. Even in our parenting as we struggle, or in our relationships, he desires to bless us. He is so good at this. And he has passed on some of his great lessons in leadership to Warren A. Cowdery and now on to us. Which one of these leadership principles do you need today to better feel God's love and to help others feel his love? Hey, thanks for studying. We'll see you next time.